My name is Jason. I'm 35 and my wife, Ella, is 32. We've been together for 7 years and married for 5. Like most couples, we've had our share of ups and downs, but 2 years ago, our marriage was rocked by something I always thought would be a deal breaker for me: infidelity. Ella admitted she cheated on me with a coworker. At the time, I was crushed. For as long as I can remember, I believed cheating was my hard boundary, my non-negotiable red line. If it ever happened, I thought I'd walk away without looking back. But real life, as I quickly found out, isn't that simple. In the days and weeks after her confession, I went through a roller coaster of emotions. Shock. Anger. Betrayal. Sadness. Confusion. But there were also a few things about how Ella handled the situation that gave me pause and made me question whether the marriage could actually be salvaged. First, Ella confessed to me on her own. No one forced her to tell me. She wasn't caught in the act, and I hadn't confronted her with evidence. She came forward voluntarily, and while that didn't erase the pain, it did show some level of integrity. She could have kept it hidden and never told me. But she didn't. She told me it was a one-time thing that happened at a housewarming party. I remember that night vividly because she didn't come home until almost 4 a.m. I was worried, texted her several times, asked if she needed me to pick her up. Ella doesn't usually drink, and I was concerned she might have had too much and wasn't okay. Turns out, she stayed longer than I realized, far too long, for reasons I now understand all too well. After confessing, she quit her job. That was entirely her choice. I actually discouraged her from doing so at the time, not because I wanted her to stay at that job, but because I was seriously considering divorce and was concerned that unemployment might lead to higher alimony payments. Still, the fact that she left that workplace on her own to cut off contact and hold herself accountable carried some weight. There was also the fact that I had cheated once years ago. I was 19, in college, and in a relationship that wasn't serious, but I had kissed someone else while drunk at a party. My girlfriend at the time forgave me. What I did wasn't on the same level as Ella's betrayal, but it lingered in my mind and made me feel like a hypocrite for being completely unforgiving. So after considering all of this, her remorse, her willingness to be transparent, her decision to remove herself from the environment where it happened, and the strength of our relationship outside of this incident, I made the incredibly difficult decision to forgive her. But I didn't do it blindly. As a condition of reconciliation, I asked Ella to sign a post-nuptial agreement. It wasn't vindictive, it was about protecting myself from further betrayal. The agreement affirmed that our premarital assets would remain separate in the event of a divorce. It also included an infidelity clause: if either of us cheated again, the cheater would forfeit their rights to our jointly owned home, our car, and any claim to alimony. The remaining assets would be split 60/40 in favor of the faithful spouse. We both had independent legal representation and signed it willingly. Ella didn't flinch. She agreed wholeheartedly. For the next 2 years, I believed we were healing. We did therapy. We talked more openly than ever before. I began to trust her again. I genuinely thought we were rebuilding something stronger. Then, last month, everything unraveled. I got a message on Facebook from someone named Alice. I didn't recognize the name at first, but when I opened the message, my heart dropped. Alice introduced herself as the wife of Bill, the coworker with whom Ella had the affair. She had found me through Ella's social media and reached out after discovering her husband had been cheating on her. She had gone through his devices and found messages and photos that exposed the affair. I told her I already knew about the affair, that Ella had come clean 2 years ago. I thanked her for reaching out, assuming that was the end of the story. But then she said something that changed everything. Alice told me that it hadn't been a one-night stand. According to the messages and calendar entries she'd uncovered, Ella and Bill had been sleeping together for 5 months. 5 months. I was stunned. I asked her if she was sure it wasn't just an emotional affair. She told me, with certainty, that it was physical and that they had hooked up over 10 times. Probably more. Whether we stay together or not, the one thing I know for sure is this: I'll never again accept half-truths as healing. If we're going to rebuild, it has to be on real ground, not the illusion of honesty. And right now, that ground is looking shakier than ever.